Frank Darris is my guest. He's America's top insurance attorney, and today we're going to talk about disability insurance. You got better than a third of a chance you're going to be involved in a disabling event, and most of the time, those disabilities happen outside the workplace. That has nothing to do with what you do for a living. Bobby Labonte, race car driver, NASCAR driver, who drives 200 miles an hour, is riding his bicycle in his neighborhood, hits an uneven pavement, goes over the top of his handlebars. I don't know how fast he was going, but he sure wasn't going 200 miles an hour, I'll tell you that. And he suffered 3 broken ribs from this bicycle accident, did lung damage, and he's out of work for 3 weeks. That's a lot of money to a guy like Labonte, because you see, just showing up and qualifying for a race means a lot of money to those boys. But see, here again, this had nothing to do with what he does for a living.
Just look around. My mediator this week, she showed up on day 1 with 4 bandages on her face. She looked like she had been punched or somebody was mad about last week's mediation. What happened? 3 weeks ago, she was riding her bike a mile from home. She slid down a ravine, and she was off work for 4 weeks. You don't have to look further than to your left or to your right, or just ask your neighbor, hey, who got injured this week? Or who's sick or who's off?
Most of us have some kind of insurance, many times provided by our employer. That's well and good if that happens in the workplace, but almost all of the disabling events happen outside the workplace. What kind of insurance do you have to cover that?
Gary, we have 37 million Americans who are disabled today, 12% of the population. And of those 37 million, 18.5 million are disabled in their working years, which means 18 to 64. The kind of folks that I'm seeing don't have big stock portfolios, and they're not looking to their bond fund to be able to backfill a overdue 90-day foreclosure notice.
No, and most people don't really understand if they do have a disability policy. They don't understand it. And why is that? Because it's written in legalese.
Because when a big insurance company can write language subject to a number of different meetings, and you and I, as consumers, can't make heads or tails of it, that's a perfect scenario to create and inject ambiguity and confusion. And those of us that are trying to make a claim when we're sick or injured and we need to put food on the table and gas in the car and keep the kids in school and the lights on, that's not the time for you and I to be confused about language in a disability policy that's supposed to protect us when we get sick or injured. 99% of the policies out there that folks have at work don't protect them for the first 180 days. So 180 plus 30 and another 15 for them to find our address, that's 215 days or 8 months before you're going to see a check. How in the world are we going to do that?
I have no clue, and neither is anybody else, and that's why when you look at the numbers of people that declare bankruptcy because they can't pay their medical bills due to an accident or an illness.
Long-term disability policy from work, I promise, is going to have what they call a self-report limitation. If you're self-reporting because you've got a migraine headache or you've got fibromyalgia, there's no test that can prove you've got it. No blood test, no x-ray, no nothing. We get a headache, you got to believe me, I've got a migraine headache. I'm light sensitive, I can't listen to sound. Most, if not all, of the employer-sponsored plans limit these soft claims to as short as 12 months and as long as 24 months. The individual policies don't do that. Individual disability insurance is the ticket. The benefits are tax-free. So unlike your employment where everything's taxable, because if you were working, you'd pay taxes on your earnings, individual disability insurance is tax-free. Second, it's portable. You don't need an employer to pay the premiums on it. You take it with you, and whether you're working or you stay home for 6 months, have a baby, it stays with you and it grows with you. These policies are fixed. Your premium can stay the same over the life of the policy.
It's like, without it, it's like driving without your seatbelt. Yeah, you can do it. But boy, it's dumb. I mean, this common sense that there are some insurance coverages that you need, and this is certainly one. And Frank, I appreciate so much you being on the show and you bringing this topic for discussion.
My pleasure. Have a great day, everybody.